Um, Thank you so much for that generous, those generous remarks. I really first just want to thank the Ridenhour Prize Committee and the Nation Institute for honoring this book, and really much more importantly for honoring all the work that seeks to tell the stories of those who far too often are prevented from speaking, particularly speaking out publicly about their own struggles and about the injustices that they face or that they have discovered or stumbled upon. I also want to, of course, give a profound thank you to my agent, Jerry Toma, who stood by this book for 13 years so that it could see the light of the press, and my editors at Pantheon Books for helping me to make this book as good as I think it could have been after that amount of time. I also want to thank my family, my children, Dylan, Wilder, Ava, Kim, and Sean, and my niece Isabel, and my husband John, who couldn't be here, and my sister Saskia, who is here, my parents Ann and Frank Thompson, and of course my best friend Agnes, who's going to watch this soon, I hope. Mostly, though, I want to thank the scores of men who not only launched one of the most important justice struggles of the 20th century, but also paid such an unimaginably high price for daring to do so. Without them, without their determination to tell their story, despite the extraordinary lengths that the state officials went to try to silence them, and no matter how long it might take them, without them, I could not have written this book that you are all so generously honoring today. Back in 1971, in the Attica State Correctional Facility in upstate New York, nearly 1,300 men came together in the hope that they might secure the most basic human rights. But after 4 long days and nights of fruitful negotiations with the state of New York, these men, prisoners and corrections officers alike, were literally gunned down when the governor, Nelson Rockefeller, decided without warning to retake the prison with hundreds of heavily armed state troopers. Not only were 128 unarmed men shot that morning, some 6-7 times, and not only did 39 of those men die of their gunshot wounds, and not only were the survivors, those who managed to survive this assault, then tortured, literally tortured, for days and weeks thereafter. But state officials then spent the next many decades protecting those who had committed those brutal acts and outright denying the trauma that the men inside of Attica endured. So this book is for those men. Those prisoners and guards who were killed at Attica back in 1971, and those who managed to survive its brutal end. And it is also for the more than 2 million men and women who are locked up in prisons across America today. My book hopes to remind us all that those who live behind bars are human beings. And perhaps by shining a bit more light on the horrors that happened behind the high walls of one prison 45 years ago, I hope that this book might also move us all to keep a much closer eye on what happens behind bars today. As I wrote in the last line of the book, the Attica prison uprising of 1971 shows the nation that even the most marginalized citizens will never stop fighting to be treated as human beings. It testifies to this irrepressible demand for justice. This is Attica's legacy. Thank you.